you now. You're gonna see an evolution. It'll never bring us down. No, they'll never bring us down. Get ready for the revolution. It's coming to you now. It's coming to you now. You're gonna see an evolution. And they'll never bring us down. No, they'll never bring us down. Get ready for the revolution. It's coming to you now. It's coming to you now. You're gonna see an evolution. It'll never bring us down. No, they'll never bring us down. Get ready for the revolution. It's coming to you now. It's coming to you now. You're gonna see an evolution. And they'll never bring us down. No, they'll never bring us down.
Hi, and welcome back to our live stream. We're getting on quite the roll of running these each week. Mel is meant to have been here today, but unfortunately she's been struck down with laryngitis, and that means that she cannot talk. So I have got with me again this week, Jacqui, and we're going to talk about apps and apps for your business. So welcome back, Jacqui. It's great to have you.
Thanks, Anna. Thanks. I don't know what else I can say to those people that have been listening each time, but good morning.
Good morning. It's amazing. It's a beautiful sunny day here in New Zealand.
Yeah, here too.
Yeah.
Just got to get out from in front of the computer, don't we?
We do. Yes. Yes. I took that advantage yesterday and stole my CrossFit coach's dog for a walk. I was like, nope. And so that's going to be, I think, my new way of getting around having a pet is I'm going to steal other people's.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, happy to take any tips on that. But talking about that, like we've talked about last time, we talked about carbon and implementing the likes of carbon to your business, and you're an expert at this. Apps for the business are such a big topic and a controversial topic for some people as well. There has been an explosion from the desktop days where you literally just had to use pen and paper and you didn't have any choice. You used the desktop software, whether it was QuickBooks or MyOb, for example, or Sage probably. And now with Xero, Intuit, MyOb, everyone going online, and then all these other apps filling gaps that they had.
Yeah.
How do you choose, and how do you not get overwhelmed?
Well, yeah, for us, it's just trial and error, and everyone else is just probably the same, asking lots of questions to other people. What do you use? Does this work for you? How much is it is always a big one.
Yeah.
So as far as workflow goes, we started with Asana. I mean, this is years ago, so they've definitely improved. Started with Asana and then XPM, which was way too clunky for us. So Asana, we only had about one staff member, so it was okay. But as it grew, we just outgrew it. XPM wasn't for us. I found that they weren't investing in the software at all, so it wasn't improving. And then that's when we started with Carbon. But again, that was really early days, and they're changing every day. And that's managed. We've managed to grow with that system. So that's all of your work. This is just us. I mean, this may not be great for everyone, of course. So we've managed to grow with that. The staff have grown. Some staff have come and gone, and with the workflow and the tasks and everything being rolled out properly, a new team member can sit in a lot more quickly and join your team better and be able to just start working more quickly with a really good workflow. So for us, not everyone does this, but for us, we have Carbon as the middle, and then things come off Carbon. So Carbon can sync with Intuit. It can sync with T-Sheets. It can sync with Practice Ignition. I think it can sync with Xero, but I don't use that. So there's quite a few apps then that we use that come off that. Other people, of course, Xero is the hub. So it just depends then on what they want to use. That comes backwards and forwards from that. We have Practice Protect as well that sits above everything, and it, that's the only one I trust really. And then it keeps all your security in, and when the staff start, you just set them all up, and again, off they go without any logins or passwords. Or I feel like the whole business is safe here and in the Philippines. So that's what we use. I mean, I hear a lot of Minute Docs, really good. We love T-Sheets because the times sync straight into the job, straight onto the tasks. I know exactly who's logged into each job and for how long and what work they did, because they tap in the work they did. So that's attached to every single job that we look at or work that we look at. And then from there, I can set a budget for how long it's going to take and how much it's going to cost me and what the expenses are for that client and that job. And I can really budget around how that works. But again, it's really up to everyone else. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, Facebook. Oh, sorry, Anna. I said this morning I'm not going to have anything to say. You can't take a breath. Sorry.
Between the two of us.
Yeah.
That was an interesting question. And during my time when I worked at Xero and loved it, and obviously I was actually helping a friend out this morning because she's like, I don't know how to use it. And I was like, this is how you do it. And she goes, why did no one show me that? Why did my accountant not show me how simple it is? Oh my goodness. You just explained it to me in a different way. But I remember with all the apps that surround and can surround, there was just a perception that your accounting software has to be that core of a business, but it's not.
Doesn't have to be.
No. Yeah. And this is something you just said with Carbon as your core. And I can see with, for example, my CrossFit gym, the new app that he's just there's a new app that he's just implemented, Influx app. So he moved away from Zen Planner. That was his core, because that's where he manages all of his clients, like us, all the clients, etc., and all that communication goes through there. And really the accounting software it's just running in the background. It's the engine that's taking over and keeping that compliance.
100%. And most bookkeepers, that accounting software, I shouldn't say that, maybe Xero more than but they use that as their hub, and they try to incorporate everything out of that software, everything. So your workflow, your tax logic, everything. And it's great for most things, but even payroll, probably Xero is great on payroll, but just to a small amount. And a lot of your clients will need better and bigger payroll. So don't try and just use it for that one app. There's a lot of apps out there that will really help you extend your services and bring that on board. And I guess too, it depends on what's really important to you. If you've got one or two staff and you're really happy with that, you don't necessarily need to grow. You don't need a big workflow. Things like Xero, perfect. Like I use Gov Reports as well. We don't use the Xero Lodge. I don't know why, but we use Gov Reports because we've been there forever. It's got its own workflow that's included in, I think it's included in the price, but it's fabulous as well. So there are workflow that seems to be getting more and more attached to every app. But for me, I like to focus on the software that's good at what it does, because that's its baby, and that's the journey that it's in. That's the one it's going to improve. Like you could use Adobe for your engagement letters. Just send them out. For me, that takes too long. I really like just being able to snap. It's all set up properly. And it all gels. Again, once you've set that client up in Practice Ignition, you can sync that over to Carbon, have the job set up the way that, or the work set up the way that it's, you scope it to the client. The name set up the same, the address goes in. So all of that sort of thing, and then it syncs from Carbon back to T-Sheets. So it all can match up. If you use QuickBooks, then the same thing. It syncs from Practice Ignition to QuickBooks, back into Carbon, and then over to T-Sheets. Sometimes the syncing I get a bit frightened of, but Facebook can be synced into MailChimp through Zapier. Like, it's all doable. It's all doable.
Yeah. And that's part of it, isn't it? It's about taking that time and that effort just to carve out some time and go, actually, if I spend a couple of hours here looking at what I need, bring in the right person if I don't have the skill set to do the implementation, and then how much time is that going to save me? And
100%.
One of my friends said that to me last week, and he said they're moving off Reckon Desktop here, and he's in New Zealand.
That sounds really archaic, doesn't it?
I know. I was like, you're what? I'm like, I was like, that still exists. That's still around. Anyway, he's moving off that, and he's moving on to Xero and Fergus for his business. So it's a refrigeration business. And so he's like, it's going to be a painful 3 months, but I can see past that 3 months what it's going to be like for myself and the team. Yeah.
I think too, you've got to think about your hourly rate. And this, I mean, not obviously, but that's part of evolutionary is we do go into businesses and we set Carbon up for you and put the work in and the tasks and match them to your client. But even if you're talking about XPM or whatever, I mean, there's people out there that, definitely, I know a lot of them that go in and implement it for you, just like you would implement Xero or whatever into your clients. You look at a client's file that they've been working on for 6 months. I've been trying to set that up, and you're like, no. So, so that's part of the service. So I guess when you're spending a lot of time implementing the services and, the apps and all of that, you should really look at your hourly rate as well to go, you know what, it's worth paying the app subscription fees of $70 a month, sorry, not a week, because that's really less than an hour's work that you could be then on billing to a client.
Exactly.
So that's, or it's, 10 cups of coffee at the coffee shops that are about to open in New South Wales, by the way, everybody. So, so it's that sort of thing. If you break it down to what it's worth to your business, is it about time and money? Do you have time, or do you, and do you want to spend the money? It's that sort of thing. But for me, I've got girls overseas that I even go, you know what, I don't want to know about this. Can you just make it happen? Or I can sit there and spend 3 days, and by the end I want to throw my computer out the door.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And then there's that massive part as well of not just paying for the app, but paying someone to do the implementation. And I always use the analogy, and it depends who I'm talking to, but I remember talking to a plumber once, and he's like, oh, why would I pay someone to implement Xero for me? And I was like, do you want me to put the toilet in?
Exactly. That's so true. It's so true.
He said, okay, I get it.
Yeah, exactly. The bookkeeping clients, I'm often saying, well, I don't try to do what you just try to do. Like, we're bookkeepers. We're bookkeepers. If you think the fence should be built that way, then I'm going to go with what you think. So, and again, I could try to do the plumbing. It would be horrendous and a big disaster.
It would be.
I mean, I think as a bookkeeper, we all know that anyway, because that's the service that we're providing for our clients. But as far as just going back to the apps and that support, there is a lot of support within the app and within the process. I found Practice Ignition, for example, the support that I got from them was amazing. They were fabulous. You could tap in whenever, and, I'm not a huge business, not that they've got with accountants, et cetera, et cetera. And whenever I asked a question, you sort of get a person. Well, I did. And whenever you asked a question, they came back. They offered to get a Zoom together. I found Practice Protect the same. It just depends on how much service you want, or how much you just want to say, I don't want to deal with that. I'm going to do it myself. Or, I want to know half of it and I just want to check in it's each to your own. And, ask lots of questions about the apps that you want to use. I do. And like we were saying, I really recommend not just working from your accounting software. Accounting software is fabulous for accounting.
Correct.
That's what they're great at. And they do seem to be branching out a little bit and saying, we want to be good at this and this and this and this. But their core is for accounting and bookkeeping. I don't know.
It is.
I just like sticking with what people are good at.
Yeah. Oh, it's so important. It's like with us finding our genius zones. Like
Yeah.
I love training people on Xero and how to use
Yeah.
it. I actually love it. And I love when friends say to me or somebody says to me, hey, I've got this business. What apps should I use? I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love talking to them
Try
about
this, and this, and this has got that, and that's got this, and this has got this.
Yeah.
And I think even as your team members, you know whether or not you've got the right bums on seats. So we've got a team member and I'm trying to get her to delegate work and be more of a manager. She's going, I don't want to do that. I just want to be a bookkeeper from the beginning to end. And I'm like, okay. You know, let's put you on the right seat and manage clients. And she's fabulous at it. And that's the thing. If you try to move an app or a person out of their genius zone, it just doesn't work. It starts to fall apart. We've had clients with the implementation of Carbon, and they've just ripped apart every suggestion all the way. I mean, I guess all we're trying to do is duplicate in a way what we do and what's worked for us into other people's businesses. I mean, we're not there to rewrite the book. We're just there to help you utilize the software as best as you can. So we have had clients that have just ripped it apart and it's taken months and months, and then at the end they're like, this isn't working. I'm like, well, use the software for what it's designed for. Enjoy it. You can definitely tweak it and customize it to yourself, but don't try. If you want to really rip it apart and change that app, maybe it's not the right app for you. Maybe you do need to stick your toes and, you know, ask other people what they're using and why you're using it and what's not working, and then you can go, no, this one's not for me, before you spend hours on it.
Exactly. Especially when you're looking at whether it's in the accounting stream or a workflow or I'm thinking of the trades. There's so many different, like you could be looking at GeoOp, Fergus, ServiceMate.
Yeah. There's Canva, there's thousands. Yeah. Thousands.
It goes on. And it's about what works for you and what is going to work for your team. And do you need to implement something huge, or can you actually get away with, you know, just a simple tweak?
Yeah,
in
100%.
reality.
You know, with your workflow, I hate to promote it, but if you've only got, you know, 5 or 10 clients, a spreadsheet's even fine. You don't need to spend 50 hours implementing an app. I wouldn't recommend going back to the old green book instead of Xero or QuickBooks. I don't recommend that. But you know, there's some things that you can still Band-Aid with that more manual process. There's no reason that you have to say everybody's using Carbon, everyone's using Asana. That's definitely the way to go. I do recommend getting it ready and organised before you have a massive growth spurt. But if you're just happy with your few little clients and you only work when the kids are at school and you don't want a team, then start with spreadsheets. I use spreadsheets for years. No, and get on all of the Facebook groups, see what everyone's using and why it works and why it doesn't. Ask lots of questions. There's no right or wrong.
No, and I think we do overcomplicate it too much as well. In that way, when we're looking at, if I look back to when I started my bookkeeping business, I set up the business. I set up Xero because it was like early days back in 2009. I joined a BNI networking group and I got networking with clients, potential clients. Like that was all I had back in 2009. You didn't have anything else to do but word of mouth or getting into networking groups. Like and so
I didn't even know about Facebook groups until about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't really come out till then. Oh, it's Jacqui stalled.
So,
your internet's gone funny.
Well, we started with the spreadsheets, just make up your own. And I spent hours trying to work out what was the best way. And then I invested in pure bookkeeping because I really needed another team member. And I didn't know how to train anyone. I didn't know whether I was doing it right. I think that was the biggest fear. Am I doing it right? Or I really know what I'm doing here. How am I going to train somebody that comes in with their own ideas? So that's why we started with that process and just following their systems. Exactly. good rule player. So following their systems, exactly what they told me to do. And then we've morphed from there. But that'll really allowed me to grow, put the systems in place. Then had they had Xero, they had MyOp, all of those things. So then you follow and you learn more in a structured way about how to use the software. And then from there, the apps came out. But again, you then incorporated into a group of people that had more experience than you and less experience. So the ones that are just coming on board, you get to help them explore the different apps with the more experienced ones that have tried different apps. So there's lots of that conversation that goes on within the Facebook groups, and just with our environment. Yeah, with our team. And I think everyone's really enthusiastic. They really want to help other people grow. I found that they're happy to send out all the information that's in their head and their experience. So if you're not sure what to use, just ask lots of questions. Find out what suits you. It really does matter where you're up to in your journey. 100%. 100%. You can have 10,000 apps coming off, and you're paying for all these things, and then you go through and why am I using all of this? Is this necessary?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the software companies are there. They have support teams and they have people with knowledge for a reason, because we actually like to answer the questions.
That's right. You've got a passion about it.
Yeah. And most of them have a partner program that you can sign up to and join, but it's about, I think, for me, like, say, for example, if I was to start a new bookkeeping business now, I would look at my core accounting software, a core data extraction software. So looking at your Dext or Lightyear. I'm a big fan of Lightyear.
Oh, I've never heard of it. There you go.
Lightyear.
I'll have to check it out. Oh no, there goes another 100 hours. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the guys at Lightyear.
Let me write that down. Okay.
They're amazing. So, HubDoc, of course. Then
there's Expert I heard of the other day. We're having a thing with them. So we still have, even though I feel like we're set in stone, when I hear from somebody in the community that something's great, I still book in and I go, let's just have a look at this and see if it's better or worse. And is it worth the time to implement something new? Exactly. Are we at the stage that we need something new? Maybe this is going to work better for us. So I'm not scared of change. But if it's a big job to roll something out and it's really not going to improve us long term, like I know that there's Minute Doc and I use Time Doctor as well, which is great when you've got offshore staff. It's a bit Big Brother is watching, but that's okay for me. So there's lots of those as well. And then you think, am I a bit, T-Sheets doesn't have any support in Australia, and is that still the right one? And then it's like, it's all implemented and it's all synced, so we're just going to stay with it.
And it's working. Yeah.
100%.
And that's the thing with Lightyear, for example, their specialty is working with businesses who have multiple, it's fine for the normal businesses, but if you've got a restaurant that needs a chef and a front of house, etc., all signing off on invoices, and you want some automation, automatic statement matching, so if you've got hospitality businesses that have multiple and a huge accounts payable,
different departments and
different departments, in that Lightyear will suit so much better than the likes of Dext or HubDoc.
Which all just goes in as a flat thing. Well, there you go. See, that's all you need is a conversation.
Exactly. It's just a conversation.
So if anyone else has anything else to add, say, and we can all jump on and get a little tutorial from the person. I like to have a live webinar. It's not always offered, but I like to have a live webinar to whoever is selling it. But often, you don't have enough people for that. So if you know other people in the community that might be interested, it doesn't mean you have to be all in the same room, not these days. So, for example, if I just had Anna and Mel, and they're the only people I knew, and they all worked for their own different companies, then pull those people together and ask for a live Zoom from whoever it is. And then everyone's got different questions they can ask, providing they offer that, obviously. Otherwise, they usually send you a link to a tutorial or something like that.
Like Lightyear, for example, I know these guys do, and they'll happily do a webinar or a live Zoom with people. So it is about talking, and it's about talking with the experts and going, this is my client base. This is what I need. And this is a problem that can you solve that? Like, is that possible to be solved? And sort of get past the good ones. You can get past that salesy stuff.
Yes. And I'll be able to ask lots of questions. Yeah, you don't want the salesy stuff. I don't like that. And I'm just like, oh, no. So, but they need to be really thorough in their knowledge as well. A lot of, sometimes they get on and they just, it is just reading a script and this is all I know. But saying that, we should be more positive. There are fantastic apps out there and they are changing all of the time. And the syncing. So, for example, from, your Facebook ads, syncing through Zapier and then getting to MailChimp and getting those out automatically. I've learned that from Mel. But getting those out automatically, making that all happen in the background by itself. That's what you want, the automation, so that then you can spend the time. You've got more junior staff working on the bookkeeping, churning that through and, starting it from beginning to end. And then the senior bookkeepers are consulting with the clients, building up the rapport, making them really sticky. Because it's about the end numbers now. It's not because of the apps, everything is really streamlined, and you don't necessarily, you can then increase your price, but your overheads are less because the apps are working in the background for you. So that's what we've found anyway, is why sometimes the girls are taking so long and I'm like, why am I paying for an app that can do this? And you're taking, so that's that real balance of making sure that your staff are working to their potential. And the apps are being used properly as well. So that, again, is all about training and making sure your team's on board and they're all enjoying. And I get a lot of feedback from the team. I know I'm off on another journey, but I get a lot of feedback from the team where we work completely cohesively. And I'm always saying, and they come to me and go, this isn't working. This is terrible. I've heard about this app. Let's have a meeting about it. So I'm not afraid to change. I just feel right at the moment we've got the gel of what we've got. But next week I might find something else, and that's okay.
Exactly, and that's okay. And or you might find something that works really well for a small portion of your client base because
100%.
They are in this industry, and it just works.
Yeah, 100%. And I think when you're having those webinars, you're thinking straight away, oh, that would be good for that client, and that would be good for that client. And that one's happy to change, and this one's happy to move, and that will encourage you to ask the questions that you need the answers for to be able to support your clients. Exactly. So anyway,
yeah.
So I think the basic is work out what app, where you want the hub to be in your business. So do you want it to be in workflow? Do you want it to be in your accounting software? Where's your business going? What's the most important for you as a business owner to keep control of? For me, it's workflow so that I can keep everyone moving. But, you might find Xero or QuickBooks is the right one. You might be on sales. So Practice Ignition is the most important, or one of those that you send out PandaDoc. Anyway.
Yeah, that's so true. And that's the same when thinking about your clients as well and what it is for their business. Because for you as the bookkeeper, the accounting software is going to be the most important aspect. But for the builder with 10 staff, managing his jobs and the cost of the build 100%. And all that sort of thing, that is going to be his core.
Well, that's right. He's not interested in bookkeeping, which is why he's got you. So that accounting software, he couldn't care. Let's just make it work. Let's get this, because we're, all the builders or everyone's going to be smashed. As soon as they open up the lockdown here in New South Wales, there's going to be so much work. So it's a great opportunity for us to really market, really understand the options and the apps that are out there to support the clients so that we can go in with knowledge and power and, really support the clients that are going to absolutely come to us because they'll be behind. They've got the job saver. They don't know what they're doing. So it's a great marketing time. Yeah. And it's really a time to get those apps under your belt so that you can help the clients that you've got. I think.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, because it is, and you see everybody's at home and they're like, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're all trying to pivot. And what's going to be our niche? Are we going to look after, subbies, or what's going, are we going to go into health? Are we going to go, what are we going to do? So it's a great time to really learn those apps, like you were saying, that really support the different industries and just go forth.
Exactly. And that's where it's great on Xero's app marketplace or Intuit's, I don't know what they call it, but something similar, to be able to go in and look at the industries, look at the apps, find, and you don't have to be across all of them. I remember.
No, just pick a couple, one or two.
Yeah.
That's all. Get them. I always go for the most popular, obviously. And then I get on the Facebook site and read about that. And then I get on their website and read about that. And then if it's still ticking the boxes, then I jump on a webinar with them and find out more, and then talk to the clients and say, this would be really good. I think that this is worth moving to because you're growing in this direction, and can we just handle it? We know it inside and out. And just sometimes you have to fake it till you make it, and just keep learning as you're working on it.
Totally. And I remember back in the early days, so let's go back to like 2011, working with the bookkeepers and accountants in Australia and talking to them about Xero. Even if they didn't want to know about that software at the time, I'd say, look, let's just talk about or move on to it. I'd say, let's just talk about what it does, because the marketing engine is going to kick off and your clients are going to come to you and ask. So let's get a little bit.
That's exactly what they did.
Yeah. Exactly what happened. So it's like a little bit of information, knowledge will help you with when your clients come, not to lose a client, and also to be able to be educated enough to say to them, look, I think it will be a great solution for you, but not right now because of XYZ. So having just that knowledge in your head makes you sound like amazing to your clients.
Yeah. Or they're bringing out such and such, whatever the thing is that, the client really specifically needs. Let's just hold back on what you've got at the moment. In 6 months, they're saying, so let's say 9 months, it's going to be out. Let's revisit it then. I really think this is going to be a big, time saver for you, because that's all they care about. Exactly. Let's bring it in. How much is it going to cost is what they're going to say. And you just go, look, it's worth the money. This is how, and equate it to something that's relevant to them. Just keep listening to people and keep your eye out for what's really going to work for your business and your client's business. Like I said, whether that's, you can implement lots of workflow for them. Yeah. There's, obviously I'm all about that. But, it doesn't have to be the accounting software. Obviously, that's really important. But that may not be the focus for the particular client at that time.
Exactly. Oh, that's a great
spot. I thought I'd have nothing to say.
I knew you would.
And go.
And go. Exactly. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. And there's been some comments about great advice and automation and lots of opportunities. So yes, if you're watching this later and you've got any questions, pop them in the question box and or the comment, and we'll reach out to me. I'll reach out to Jacqui and we will chat with you. Jacqui, thank you once again for being with us.
Look, you must be sick of the sound of my voice. I'm never sick of it, but you must be.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I love these. I love doing these. They're really fun, and we've got some really cool people coming up as well.
That's good. That's good.
Actually, let me just jump into another tab and have a wee look, because we have Charles from BOMA coming up. So talking about marketing.
That sounds great.
Yeah, a couple of our amazing students coming up as well,
good.
sharing their journeys. So, and then a few more in the pipeline. So.
Oh, good. Well, I can absolutely promise you that the program's fantastic. Set me up with all of the Facebook things and got the business moving, and it's amazing. Even if you're already halfway or, 3/4 of the way through your journey and you've got a bit of a block, it's perfect. How's that?
Thank you.
For Bookkeeper Revolution. Absolutely amazing. The girls are awesome.
And we love it. We love what we do. So, cool.
That's the important thing, isn't it? Anyway, I'll stop talking now.
All right. Well, we will let you guys go. I will end the broadcast, and I will talk with you all more soon.
Okay. Thanks, Anna.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.